Sastri class. So till now, we have discussed from Nectar of Instruction. We saw the preface. We saw verse first, second, and third. So basically, we have seen 18 things. 6 urges to control, 6 detrimental things to Krishna consciousness, unfavorable things to Krishna consciousness, and 6 favorable things to Krishna consciousness. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Chaya Bega Domi, Chaya Dosha Shodhi, Chaya Guna Deho Dase. There is a famous song, Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Dayaru Sagar. In that song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions about these verses of Nectar of Instruction. And he tells, Chaya Bega Domi, please help me, my dear spiritual master, my dear Vaishnav Thakur, please help me to control the 6 urges. Chaya Dosha Shodhi, please save me from the 6 unfavorable things to Krishna consciousness. And Chaya Guna Deho Dase, give me those 6 favorable things which help me to progress in Krishna consciousness. And then he says, Chaya Sat Sange Deho Yamar, give me 6 kind of loving dealings with devotees. Because the underlying principle of progressing in Krishna consciousness is devotee association. Rupa Goswami is specifically told in both the verses to avoid non-devotee association. Srishti Mataji, can you read this quote from Srila Prabhupada?
Hare Krishna. In the previous verse, Srila Rupa Goswami advised that one should renounce worldly association and keep company with the devotees, Sangha Tyaga Saturvite. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established to facilitate these 6 kinds of loving exchanges between devotees.
So Rupa Goswami has told that we should renounce worldly association and we should keep association of devotees, Krishna conscious devotees. Prabhupada is saying International Society for Krishna Consciousness has been established just to facilitate these 6 loving exchanges. What are the 6 loving exchanges? We'll study in text 4. Very beautiful verse. As I requested yesterday, even if you forget everything, at least please remember these 4 verses, 1, 2, 3, 4 from Nectar of Instruction. They are very, very important for our spiritual life. Dadati prati granati guhyam akhyati prachati bhungte bhojayate chaiva shadvidham priti lakshanam. Priti lakshanam. Priti means love. Priti lakshanam means symptom of love. These 6 dealings, they enrich our loving relationships. What are the 6 symptoms of loving relationships? Let's see them one by one. First is dadati. Dadati means giving. We should learn to give. First thing in Krishna consciousness, we come and we start expecting what I have got in ISKCON, what I have gotten in spiritual life. No, Rupa Goswami is saying first learn to give. Give your time, give your attention, give your service, give your faith. Dadati. Giving gifts to devotees, which is pleasing. Sometimes our giving gifts is like stock clearance. You understand stock clearance? Many times we see in things, there are so many things in house now, what to do? We can't throw spiritual things also. Okay, let me gift it out to somebody. No. Principle of gift is something which is dear to you, you should gift it to others. That is the principle of gift. Dadati. And then pratigranati. That you see the choice of words Rupa Goswami is saying. He's not saying dadati, giving, and then taking. No, not demanding. Pratigranati. Granati means receiving. If in case somebody gives, then you accept. It's not that you are giving, then you expect also that others should also give. That is not pratigranati. Pratigranati means when you are giving gifts to devotees, maybe some devotee may also give you some gift, so just receive it. That is pratigranati. That means without expectation. Guhyam is confidential. What is most confidential thing? Krishna. Krishna is the most confidential thing. So talking about Krishna is very important. Guhyam. This word guhyam can be used to all 6 dealings. Giving Krishna, receiving Krishna. Akhyati, speaking about Krishna. Prachati, hearing about Krishna. Bhunkte, sharing Krishna in the form of prasad. Bhojyate, feeding Krishna in the form of prasad. So this Guhyam word can be applied to all 6 dealings. Guhyam means sharing of Krishna. Don't end up giving some materialistic gift to somebody which ruins his Krishna consciousness. Like I see sometimes devotees come to brahmacharis and they're nice, simple brahmacharis, and they gift them like big phone or big laptop or something, which they don't need. Of course, some brahmachari needs it for some service, that is different thing. But maybe some pujari or something, and you end up giving him a big phone or big laptop, he may end up doing some sinful activity. So our giving gifts, receiving gifts should also enrich Krishna consciousness. How to support each other in Krishna consciousness. So this Guhyam word should be applied to all the 6 dealings. Akhyati, when you feel like sharing your heart, go to some devotee whom you trust and share your heart. And that devotee who is hearing should also maintain confidentiality. Otherwise, the devotees will not feel encouraged to share their feelings within devotee community. So we should maintain confidentiality. We should raise others' consciousness. We should not become little Jarasandh and Shishupals criticizing other Vaishnavas. That is not Guhyam Akhyati Prachati. Akhyati means somebody is coming to you with pain or happiness. You enrich that with Krishna consciousness. If you are seeing that he is becoming too proud in his happiness, in his achievements, you can share with him that how it is Guru's mercy, it's Krishna's mercy, Guru's grace that you are getting it. That is also saving your friend. If somebody is pained and hurt in devotee community, then you give him proper attitude to handle it. Not that you also start to criticize other Vaishnavas. That is not Guhyam Akhyati Prachati. Akhyati means sharing my heart to enrich Krishna consciousness. And Prachati, inquire others how they are doing, how their Krishna consciousness is developing. That is very important. Sanatan Goswami had this habit. He would go in Braj Mandal to different people and he would just inquire about their welfare, how they are doing, how is their business going, how is their family life going. What is the purpose? The purpose is, if everything is going fine, then he can preach about Krishna consciousness. So it's about, getting the platform to connect with people. So Prachati, we should make devotees feel that we value them. See, one thing is valuing somebody, but another better thing is to make them feel valued. So when we genuinely care for somebody, we have proper inquiries. Sometimes we end up asking same questions, Prabhu, how many brothers and sisters you have? Next time you meet him, how many brothers and sisters you have? Third time you meet, how many brothers and sisters you have? The devotee will think this rascal is just asking for the sake of asking. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Okay, first time you asked how many brothers and sisters you have, and you are told the answer. Next time you ask, okay, your brother was in high school, how is doing now? Then the devotee will feel, oh wow, he genuinely cares for me. He remembers that I have this such and such situation. So Guhyam Akhyati Prachati, it should be done very, very personally, very, very individually to enrich each other's Krishna consciousness. And then last 2 things which are very easy to do. Bhunkte bhojayate chaiva. accept food which is offered to Krishna by others, and feed others Krishna Prasad. Accept Krishna Prasad, feed Krishna Prasad. If there is any relationship problem in devotee community, this is the best solution. Just invite that Vaishnava to your home for Prasad and just feed Prasad. That is the most easiest way to solve any relationship problem. So these are 6 reciprocations which Rupa Goswami has told. And when we do that, what happens is our attachment to devotee association grows. Like yesterday we were discussing that we have to give up non-devotee association, then we have to develop the same affinity or more affinity to devotee association. So these 6 things, giving gifts, receiving gifts, sharing our heart to other Vaishnavas, hearing their heart, eating what they offer you in prasad, feeding them prasad. So these 6 reciprocations are very, very important to develop any Krishna conscious relationship. And what is the purpose of that relationship? When any devotee relationship grows, Krishna consciousness also grows. Because when devotees come together, they share Krishna. They discuss about Krishna. They do Shravan and Kirtan. And by doing that, they cleanse their heart and they develop Krishna Prem, which is the goal of our life. We don't have to import Krishna Prem from outside. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem, Shaddha Kabunai, Sravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karoy Uday. We don't have to import Krishna Prem from outside or impose it from outside. No, it's there in our heart. Just by doing Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte, when we do our devotional practice, our heart gets cleansed, then Karoy Uday, it arises, dormant Krishna Prem awakens in our heart. So this is the beauty of Krishna conscious association, that in that association we get chance to enrich ourselves with pure love of Krishna. Sachidanand Prabhu, can you read this quote?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, the living entity naturally awakens.
So Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about this, that yes, Shravan and Kirtan, this hearing and chanting, helps us to reawaken our love for Krishna. But the problem is, Ekaki Amar Nahi Paibal Harinam Sankirtan. Alone, I can't do this Sankirtan. I am so weak to practice spiritual life alone. So I need association of devotees. And that association is my shelter for progressing in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, it's very important that we develop loving dealings between Vaishnavas. Shrutidhar Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Exchanging love with devotees who are of the same aspiration as oneself and who are affectionate to oneself enhances one's bhakti. Offering and accepting items, revealing confidential realizations to one another, and serving and accepting food are all activities that increase affection. One should not perform these activities with those of different aspirations in life than one's own.
So this is also very important, that the association which we select should be sajatiya. Sajatiya means like-minded association. It should not happen that we are sharing confidential, but what we are sharing confidentially, faults of others. Or we are having a nice meeting how to buy a nice apartment in Vrindavan and rent it out to earn money. This is also confidential discussion. No, our discussion should be to enrich each other's Krishna consciousness. If somebody has some other aspiration, then don't associate with them. Don't have these 6 dealings with them. See, association means doing these 6 dealings. This also clarifies a doubt that we go out and work, so what should we do? Don't do these 6 items. Don't give them gifts. Don't eat what they are bringing. Or don't share, at least don't share your heart, or don't hear their instructions. Because what is the risk? Prabhupada is telling in the next quote. Okay, who will read? Jagatambika Mataji, can you read?
Hey Krishna Prabhu, if a snake is given milk to drink, its poison simply increases. For a similar reason, we should not disclose our minds to the serpent Mayavadas and Karmis. It is best to avoid association with them completely and never ask them about anything confidential because they cannot give good advice. Nor should we extend invitations to Mayavadis and atheists or nor accept their invitations, for by such intimate intermingling, we may become affected by their atheistic mentality. Sangat Sanjayate Kamah.
We discussed this yesterday also, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu warned us that better to live with a tiger, snake, or a crocodile in a cage than to associate with a non-devotee. Because what happens is, this mentality of sense gratification transmits by association of non-devotees. So these, especially these 6 dealings, which are described in this verse of Srila Rupa Goswami, we should never practice this with outside people, non-devotees. These dealings are for enhancing relationship within devotee community. So we should not imply them outside. Otherwise, we will take this mentality of sense gratification from these materialistic people. This another quote from Srila Prabhupada. Amarnatai Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, sir. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also warned Vishyatra Anakaliye Dushta hai mana. By eating food prepared by worldly people, one's mind becomes weak. Unless one is very advanced, he is unable to utilize everyone's contribution to further the Krishna consciousness movement.
Vishair anna khaile dushta hoy man. Because the food or the assets prepared or offered by worldly people are impure, they're contaminated by their consciousness of sense gratification. When we take them, we also get their wicked mentality. Therefore, we should never take food or gifts from worldly people. In case they give, better to forward it to Krishna. Like one time in Calcutta, one person came to Srila Prabhupada who was running a slaughterhouse, and he offered money to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, I can't digest this money because you're running a slaughterhouse, but Radha Govinda can do that. So better you put it in the hundi. I don't want your money, but Radha Govinda can digest it. So that should be our mentality, that okay, by any chance, if they're giving us some gifts or something, forward it to Krishna. But if we keep it for ourselves, if we keep the food offered by non-devotees, then it's definitely going to pollute our consciousness. And the second part of this line is, this verse is, Vishair anna khaile dushta hoy man, malin man nahi Krishnera smaran. By impure mind, you can never remember Krishna. So this is the risk. By associating, by eating food offered by non-devotees, our consciousness get polluted. And when with polluted consciousness, one can never remember Krishna. So we can't risk our Krishna consciousness for this matter. Usha Mataji, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. There is danger for a preacher when he receives great quantities of money, for as soon as he spends even a single cent of the collection of his personal sense gratification, he becomes a fallen victim.
This is the risk, especially for preachers. They may get a lot of money as dakshina, or they may get some gifts or name, fame, adoration. And the moment they start utilizing it for their own sense gratification, they fall victim. Our movement has a dark history of such cases, that we have so many leaders falling down because of this factor. So we should be very, very cautious that whatever we get, it should be utilized in Krishna's service. Yes, Amar Nitai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Guru. It's many times it happens with me. Ki we are in office, somebody brings that I have bring the prasad from here and there, and I'm not able to say them no. How to say ki we can't take it?
You can
For
take,
example, today only somebody had gone to Khatu Shyamji.
you can keep it, but don't eat it. Later on, you can give it to someone else. Just imagine, just think about it. You are a devotee, you are an initiated devotee in ISKCON. If somebody offers you some Domino's pizza which is not offered to Krishna, will you eat it? You will not eat it. Imagine about demigods. At least they are better devotees than us, because they are doing greater service to Krishna. How they can eat something which is not offered to Krishna? So whoever is offering to demigods or any places of worship, actually they are not accepting the offering. Whether it will Lord Shiva, Durga, Ganesh, or whoever. When we as devotees don't take non-prasad items, how they can take? They are also devotees, they are Swanishta Bhaktas. So how they can take offerings by their worshippers? So actually it is not prasad. It is not accepted by them. So it's not offense if you don't eat that prasad. So you can take it if you don't want to hurt their feelings, but then you can give it to somebody else. Okay? Yeah, Namrasita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanvatnam. Prabhu, regarding the same, as you said, that the demigods are not accepting, but earlier we had read that it is a give and take relationship. If we don't, suppose who's not following Krishna consciousness, he needs to at least please the demigods and follow scriptures.
As per the Vedic regulations. If they do as per the Vedic regulations, no sacrifice starts before invoking Lord Vishnu. No ceremony starts without offering prayers and oblations to Lord Vishnu. Just to light fire, before lighting fire, Brahmanas has to chant Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. What that does mean? That Vishnu is Paramam Padam. No matter you are doing Ganesh worship, you are doing Durga worship, you are doing Surya worship, whatever yajna you are doing, it has to start with this mantra. Om Vishnu Paramam Padam. Sada Pashyanti Suryo Diviva Chakshuratatam. So like that, these mantras are there to invoke blessings of Lord Vishnu, and then they start. So even demigod worship done properly with scriptures, it's give and take policy, but still Lord Vishnu is involved. But when they do tam tam niyamasthaya, you remember that verse? When they do as per their own inclinations, as per their own set of rules and of worship, then Krishna is calling them alpa bodhaya. They are less intelligent. Right. Okay. Sachi Maharani Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, like sometimes we have to go in gatherings. Then, like in family, we have to go for dinner or lunch.
Yeah, for grihasthas, that is the problem. What to do? You can make some excuse that you have a upset stomach or something. If nothing works, at least tell them that you prepare food, I will come and offer it. You can tell them, we will eat what you are cooking, but cook without onion garlic, because we can't take it. We have allergies, and when we come there, we will offer it. We can tell that. Srinjay Prabhu gave me this trick. When I was traveling, he told that, Prabhu, don't tell them you don't take onion garlic. Tell them that you have allergies. So they take it very seriously. So that's a nice trick. You can use that. But tell them that I will come and I'll offer the food. See, if they really love you, they will do everything for you. Like first day I came in ISKCON, I told my mother, actually before coming to ISKCON, when I realized by reading some books that we should not eat onion and garlic, I told my mother, I'll not eat onion garlic. So my mother told, okay, then you eat whatever you want, but I'm not cooking for you. I said, okay. I went to school without taking lunch. That's it. From that afternoon, my mother started cooking separately for me. You have to be little strict. Those who love you, they will do everything. Then what happened? My mother thought it's so much headache to cook 2 times. So let us also give up onion garlic now. So they also stopped. And then we all started to take prasad. So we have to little strict, intelligently, not hurting them, but intelligently. And then eventually we will see how things will improve. Okay. Okay, let's read this. This is a very important quotation. Okay. Devadev Prabhu, please read.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. According to the Dadati principle, an advanced devotee is supposed to spend at least 50% of his income on the service of the Lord and his devotees. Srila Rupa Goswami has set such an example in his life. This example should be followed by all devotees. Whatever one's income, 50% should be spent on behalf of Krishna and his devotee.
Many times devotee asks that, Prabhu, we are not able to understand what gifts we should give. Don't worry, Prabhupada is telling here what gift you should give. Should give 50% of your income to serve ISKCON. ISKCON is Srila Prabhupada's ashram, and all devotees of ISKCON have responsibility to help in mission of Srila Prabhupada. Now, some devotee may say, Prabhu, 50% is too much. How will maintain our family? See, that is the ideal standard. If we can't do it, at least we should make it a priority to give. I shared this in Bhagavad Gita also. What donation means? Donation means it should pinch, like if you have 1 lakh rupees and you're giving 100 rupees, it will never pinch you. So donation means it should pinch, it should have some purification. I have given a lot, I should not have given this much. So this pinch should be there, and that will encourage us to come to the level of 50% also. But at least we should make it a priority to give. These 2 reasons. One is it purifies our karma, and second reason is, see, when we contribute to the mission of spiritual master, then the relationship grows, because then we understand the value of his service. No, Guru Maharaj, I love you, but I don't give you any money, because money I love more than you. So that should not be there. We love spiritual master more than money. So we should offer, as grihasthas, we should offer donations. It's very important. Okay. Yeah. And also Rupa Goswami's formula is very ideal formula. Many times this comes in our discussions. So what Rupa Goswami did, he was in very highly royal position in the government of Bengal. And when he came and surrendered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he decided to divide his assets. So what he did, 50% of his assets, he donated to Vaishnavas. 25% he kept for his family. And 25% he kept for his own emergency. So that is the perfect way of dividing. 25% for maintenance, 25% for emergency, 50% for Krishna. That is the ideal way Rupa Goswami divided. Later on, Sanatana Goswami used that 25% of emergency cost to get out of the jail and going to surrender Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that was a perfect example established by Rupa Goswami. But in case we are not able to do it, at least we should make it as priority to donate. Yes, Saurabh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam. Prabhuji, when you say 50%, does that include, so we have to contribute to the temple, and then there are some can contribute to Vrindavan, some temple or Mayapur temple. So is that 50% as a whole?
Yeah, see, ideally, we should support our local temples. That is Prabhupada's stand. Wherever you are situated, you should help local preaching. At the same time, some devotees have some inclination to some specific temples also. Like somebody may be attached to Mayapur, Vrindavan, Juhu, Mumbai, other temples. So then they specifically give to those temples also. But never neglect your local temple. Because Prabhupada wanted to local devotees to run the local show. So yes, you can donate anywhere in Mayapur, Vrindavan, anywhere, but also help your local project. Okay.
Okay.
So let's come to the conclusion. Varat Krishna Prabhu, please read.
The conclusion is that we should always keep company with devotees, observe the regulative devotional principles, follow in the footsteps of the acharyas, and in full obedience carry out the orders of the spiritual master. In this way, we shall be able to develop our devotional service and dormant Krishna consciousness. Text 4, purport, Padeshamrita.
Four things, very important. First, always keep company of devotees. Second, observe regulative devotional principles. Third, follow the footsteps of previous acharyas. And fourth, with full obedience, carrying out the orders of a spiritual master. So if we do these four things, then we can develop our devotional service and dormant Krishna consciousness. So far, we have discussed these 4 verses, and as per Bhakti Vinod Thakur, this is the division of these verses. We have seen one in the beginning, but that division was, I think that is based on Srila Prabhupada's presentation, but this division is given by Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So the first verse is giving symptoms of Madhyam Adhikari. Now, what is this Madhyam Adhikari? We are going to discuss in next verse. From 2, 3, 4, these verses we learn Madhyam Adhikari's external devotional practices. 5, 6, 7, 8, 4 verses tell Madhyam Adhikari's internal vision. So, external in first 4 verses and internal in next 4 verses. And then last 3 verses tell us order of worshipable places. So there are so many spiritual places. What is the order of their worship? That is in last 3 verses. So we will go into next verse. Before that, yeah, Saurabh Prabhu, you have question?
No, Prabhu, sorry, it was earlier.
Sachi Maharani Mataji.
Prabhuji, like you told that we should be always in company of devotees. But sometimes it's like that I don't know, it happens with me. I want to be alone for some time or for some days, maybe reading Srila Prabhupada books only, like that.
That is okay, but it should not be done for long time. You know? Sometimes being alone and reading Prabhupada books is fine, but then devotional service is done in company of devotees. See, you know what is the problem with that? Problem is, if we deviate, there will be no one to correct us. That is the problem. When we are alone, we think we are doing great. But in association of devotees, they correct us. There is an example of Bharat Maharaj in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bharat Maharaj left his kingdom, his son, his wife, everything. And he came to the forest practicing devotional life. So much so that he became so advanced. He was on the platform of Bhav Bhakti, just before Prem. But problem is, there was no devotee association. One day, one deer came. He saved the deer. That was okay. No problem in that. But then he became overly attached to the deer, so much so that he left his devotional practice. Imagine if there would be another devotee there, he would have told Bharat Prabhu, you are going in wrong direction, you're going in Maya. But there was nobody to tell that. So that is the risk. So if for some time is fine, but no, it should not be done long time. At least in family, their husband, wife should help each other. They should help each other. And if they feel that they cannot help each other, then, time to time, they should have other devotee association also. So we should never practice Krishna consciousness alone at conditional stage, because our mind can cheat us. Okay.
So can you just show the last slide for 1 minute?
Yes. So in last verse, what we were discussing is how to deal with devotees. The 6 kind of loving dealings within devotee community. But now the question is, there are different grades of devotees. You can put hand on the shoulder of your friend, devotee friend, but you can't do that with your spiritual master. So yes, loving dealings has to be there, but that also should be done differently with different devotees. Therefore, next verse tells us about different grades of devotees. How we should honor different devotees as per their devotional status. So let's read that, text 5. Kripalu Keshavi Mataji, can you read the translation?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yes, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation and is engaged in worshipping the deity, and one should associate with and faithfully serve that true devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others.
So these are the 3 ways to respect devotees. First is Krishneti yasya giri tam manasandriyeta. Those who are taking name of Krishna, they're chanting Krishna, anybody who is chanting Krishna's name, we should offer them respect from mind. That means you don't need to go too close to them. Just give them respect. Second is Dikshasti chet pranitibhis cha bhajantamisham. Those who have taken initiation and those who are worshipping deities, we should offer obeisances to them because they have surrendered their life in the lotus feet of spiritual master. So we should offer obeisances to them. So the respect has become from mental to physical. And third is Nindadi Shunyam Hridam Ipsita Sangalabdhya. Those who are Nindadi Shunyam, those who don't criticize others, those who are completely engaged in serving Krishna, in advanced devotional service, we should associate with them and serve them. So our association should always be very, very filtered. You can't just say, oh, everyone is devotee. No. On our level, we have to have this proper distinction. Not for offending anyone, but for having proper respectful attitude as per their different status. So let's try to understand this one by one. Okay, Pratima Mataji, can you read this quote? You are in some new place.
Moses place. Hare Krishna.
Yes.
In order to intelligently apply the 6-fold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way, according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with 3 types of devotees: the Kanishtha Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari.
So these are the three categories of devotees: Kanishtha, Madhyam, Uttam. You have to remember this. I am sure most of the devotees know about this, but just revising the concept. Kanishtha is neophyte devotee, is beginner. Madhyam Adhikari is initiated devotee, and Uttam Adhikari is advanced devotee, pure devotee. So let us understand it one by one. Kanishta Adhikari, as we discussed, Krishneti yasya giritam manasandriyeta. So those who are chanting holy name of Krishna, what we should do? We should mentally honor such devotee. We don't need to go too close to that devotee because you may not get that much benefit by serving him. He may have still so many material inclinations. He's just started chanting holy name. But as he's chanting holy name of Lord, he is Vaishnava. So we should respect him even though he may have so many faults. Anupama Mataji, please read this quote.
Kanishta Adhikari. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy name of Krishna. We offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect.
So in our India, there's some boys, they get admission, some students, they get admission in big universities like IIT or IIM. We start respecting them from that day only. Although they have not become engineers and doctors till now, but we start respecting them from that day because we know after 4 years he will pass. He'll become big engineer, big person. So in the same way, those who started chanting, we should understand they may have so many faults now, but as they're chanting Krishna's name, gradually they will advance in Krishna consciousness. One day they will become pure devotees. So we should not have any reservation in offering respect to anybody who is chanting Hare Krishna. Let's read further. Chetan Prabhu, can you read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Kanishta Adhikari. Even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respect to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation of Krishna's name and Krishna's activities.
Prabhupada is talking about George Harrison. He's saying his involvement with holy name has influenced many. So he uses Krishna's name in his songs and other things. But main point Prabhupada is making here. Moksharupi Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Tantra Pranams. The conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas.
So the point is, anyone who is chanting holy name, we should always be respecting them. There is no harm in giving respect. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was asked by devotees, Khandapra devotees, that who is devotee? What is the definition of Vaishnava? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Prabhu kahe jar mukhe suni ek bar, Krishna naam se pujya srishta sabakar. If you hear somebody chanting Krishna even once, that person should be accepted as best man among all common people. So with that definition, millions of people, at least they have chanted Krishna once. So we should respect everybody actually. They can all fall in the category of Kanishta Adhikari. Atayev jar mukhe ek Krishna naam, sei to Vaishnav kari ho taro samman. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, one who is interested in chanting the holy name of Krishna, or who by practice likes to chant Krishna's name, should be accepted as a Vaishnava and offered respects as such, at least within one's mind. You don't need to do Vyas Puja of that person, but at least in your mind, you should offer respect to everyone. Yes, Saurabh Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, normally many people chant Krishna just for in a day, or just for the sake of, if we say Hare Krishna, they will say Hare Krishna. But they would not be exactly, I would say, not pious, not to say pious, but they would be in their day-to-day activities. They are not they are aggressive, or they are not good in dealing with others. So how?
So I got your point. Still, we should respect them. There is no harm in respecting. See, Vaishnava can even respect an ant. Prahlad Maharaj is respecting Hiranyakashipu. He is the demon, but Prahlad Maharaj is still respecting him. He's speaking firm statements, but with respect. So anyone who is chanting Hare Krishna, consciously, unconsciously, jokingly, anyway, we should respect them. That is Kanishta Adhikari. But higher than that is Madhyam Adhikari. This is second class Vaishnava. This is the second grade of Vaishnava. Now, by chanting holy name, he becomes serious and he surrenders to the spiritual master. Dikshasti Cheta. He takes initiation. Paranati Bhi. We should offer obeisances to devotees who have taken initiation. Because they have surrendered, they have become more serious in Krishna consciousness. They are trying to commit themselves by chanting fixed number of rounds every day, by following Purvakta principles, and by engaging themselves in the worship of the deities. So therefore, those who have taken initiation, those who have surrendered to spiritual master, those who have worshipping the deities, we should offer humble obeisances to them and respect them. Therefore, Prabhupada made this system. Then when you meet your god brothers, god sisters, any devotee, then we should offer them obeisances. Because Rupa Goswami wanted us to do this. Now this Madhyam Adhikari, how we can recognize Madhyam Adhikari? Madhyam Adhikari has four types of dealings with four people. Ishware tad adhineshu, balisheshu dushastuscha, prema maitri kripa upeksha, yaha karoti sa madhyama. How you can recognize Madhyam Adhikari? See, Kanishta Adhikari, the neophyte devotee, he thinks only he is a devotee. Others are not devotee. He thinks that he is great. That is his problem. Madhyam Adhikari is better than that. Madhyam Adhikari understands there is Krishna who is greatest. So I should develop love for Krishna first. Second is, there are other devotees apart from me. I am not the only one. There are so many other devotees. So I should develop friendly dealings with those devotees. Maitri, friendship. Third, Kripa. Those who are not devotees, those who are innocent, let me help them by preaching Krishna consciousness. Kripa. And fourth is Upeksha. Those who are envious to the Lord, let me avoid them. Upeksha. So these four symptoms are of Madhyam Adhikari. Brother Sevaki Mataji, please read the translation.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. The Madhyama Adhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with the Lord's devotees, is merciful to the ignorant, and avoids those who are envious by nature.
So these four things Madhyam Adhikari does. Worships the Lord, friendship with devotees, merciful to ignorant, and avoid envious. These are symptoms of Madhyam Adhikari. So any devotee who has this attitude, we should respect him. That okay, he knows whom to avoid, whom to preach, whom to be with, and whom to worship. This is symptoms of Madhyam Adhikari. What is distinction between Madhyam Adhikari and Kanishta Adhikari? It is given here. Who didn't read? Anisha Mataji, can you read the translation?
A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship of the deity in a temple, but who doesn't know how to behave towards devotees or people in general, is called a Prakritya Bhakta or Kanishta Adhikari.
So basically, Kanishta Adhikari is one who does not know how to behave with devotees. That is Kanishta Adhikari. He may be chanting Hare Krishna, but he does not know how to behave with devotees. But Madhyam Adhikari is one who knows how to behave with devotees, how to respect other devotees, how to associate with other devotees. So that is distinction, that is difference between Madhyam Adhikari and Kanishta Adhikari. Now third one is Uttam Adhikari. Who is Uttam Adhikari? Very important. We should associate with him, we should serve him, but we should know his qualities. What is qualities of Uttam Adhikari? Bhajana Vigyam Ananyam. He is engaged in undeviated devotional service. We also practice devotional service sometimes. Other times we are in Maya. But a pure devotee, Uttam Adhikari, is always undeviated devotional service. And second important quality is Anya Nindadi Sunyam. He never criticizes others. He is free of envy. Bhagavatam also tells this. Nirmat Saranam Satam. So those devotees who are Uttam Adhikari, they are engaged in devotional service undeviatedly. And second is, they never criticize others. Such a pure devotee thinks everybody is a devotee except me. So you get the difference? Kanishta Adhikari, I am only the devotee, nobody else is devotee like me. Madhyam Adhikari thinks, okay, I am devotee, there are other devotees also. Uttam Adhikari thinks, everybody is a devotee except me. Everyone is far superior than me. They are more dear to Krishna than me. That is Uttam Adhikari. Now, problem with Uttam Adhikari is he cannot preach. Because imagine if you are Uttam Adhikari, you go to anybody, you will think that he is greater than you. How you will preach? So Uttam Adhikari comes to the level of Madhyam Adhikari to preach Krishna consciousness. That can be done. A superior person can come to inferior level and preach. But symptom of Uttam Adhikari is he thinks everybody is superior to him. Like one time Srila Prabhupada was asked in Vrindavan. Prabhupada was asked that, are you a spiritual master of the whole world? Prabhupada avoided the question. Then again, somebody asked, Swamiji, please answer, are you a spiritual master of the whole world? Prabhupada said, no, I am servant of everyone. That is Uttam Adhikari. Although he is spiritual master of the whole world, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada, but his feeling is, his emotions is that I am servant of everyone. That is Uttam Adhikari. Okay, let's read. Diya Mataji, can you read this quotation?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttama Adhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted. Indeed, the advanced Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism.
So Srila Prabhupada is pointing out that a Uttam Adhikari, a pure devotee, is not interested in anything other than serving Krishna. And that makes him so empowered that he preaches Krishna consciousness to many, many fallen souls. So one of the symptom of Uttam Adhikari is he can convert many fallen souls into devotees. Krishna Shakti bina nahi tar pravartan. Without Krishna's empowerment, nobody can preach Krishna consciousness. So if somebody is a big preacher, we should understand that he is especially blessed. He is especially empowered. Without Krishna's empowerment, nobody can do that. So many times, yes, that, oh, why he is given so many, opportunities to preach. I can also preach. If you can preach, why you are not preaching? Somebody else is preaching, we should become happy because he has been especially blessed by Krishna. So we should never think that Uttam Adhikari is an ordinary person. No. Somebody who is preaching Krishna consciousness should be considered especially blessed and empowered by Krishna's mercy. Okay. Who didn't read? Shubham Prabhu, would you like to read? I'm not sure those who have off video, they are there or not. Okay, Vishnu Priya Mataji, please read.
Aisha Babu. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform. And it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttama Adhikari as a spiritual master.
So somebody who has only studied till high school can only teach you till high school. Somebody who has studied university, only that person can teach you university. So Uttam Adhikari is the best spiritual master. If you have Kanishta Adhikari or Madhyam Adhikari as a spiritual master, they can't take you to the level of Uttam Adhikari. So therefore, we should be very, very cautious when selecting a spiritual master. The spiritual master should be at the level of Uttam Adhikari. That means he should be engaged in serving Krishna undeviatedly, and he should never criticize anyone. That is very important. So he realizes that he is eternal servitor of Krishna. His only interest is in Krishna's service, always thinking of Krishna, devising means to spread holy name, only business, spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world, ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. So this is a little recap of what is Uttam Adhikari, who is Uttam Adhikari. Now the problem is, we have got access to Uttam Adhikari, like Srila Prabhupada, like our spiritual masters, like so many devotees. But the problem is, we end up seeing faults in them. So next to us is dealing with that don't see faults in devotees. Because in Bhagavad Gita, we have seen that by practice of Bhagavad Gita, by practice of devotional service, Bhakti Yoga, one completely gets purified. Sa gunan samati taitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. 14 chapter 26th verse tells, those who are engaged in avyabhicharini bhakti, that person, that devotee is free from all contamination. So how we can see fault in such a devotee? That will be a mistake. So I will request Shrutidhar Prabhu to read translation of 6th verse.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I'm showing it on screen also. Yeah, you can read.
Yes. Being situated in his original Krishna conscious position, a pure devotee does not identify with the body. Such a devotee should not be seen from a materialistic point of view. Indeed, one should overlook a devotee having a body born in a low family, a body with a bad complexion, a deformed body, or a diseased or infirm body. According to ordinary vision, such imperfections may seem prominent in the body of a pure devotee, but despite such seeming defects, the body of a pure devotee cannot be polluted. It is exactly like the waters of the Ganges, which sometimes during the rainy season are full of bubbles, foam, and mud. The Ganges waters do not become polluted. Those who are advanced in spiritual understanding will bathe in the Ganges without considering the condition of the water.
So it's very, very important instruction Rupa Goswami is giving in this verse. That those who are practicing Krishna consciousness, those who are pure devotees, never see them on bodily platform. Generally, when we start Krishna consciousness, first teaching is we are not body, we are soul. So to enter into spiritual life, we have to have understanding that we are not body, we are soul. So what to speak about pure devotee who has completely overcome bodily platform? We should never see defects in such devotee. Oh, he is an Indian sannyasi. No, he is a Western sannyasi. He is a fat sannyasi. He is a thin sannyasi. He eats too much. He eats too less. He is fair. He is dark. Look how he walks. No, all these are offenses. Just like Rupa Goswami is giving example of Ganges water. Ganges water in rainy time, you can see now, especially Yamuna is flooding, Ganga is flooding in India. So you can see mud, you can see foam, you can see different things. But that doesn't make Ganges water impure. No. In the same way, pure devotee may come in any body. Like Ashtavakra, who met Janak Maharaj, was bent from 8 places in his body. But still, that doesn't mean that he is not a Vaishnava. So any devotee should not be seen bodily. What to speak about pure devotee? Let's read this quote. Okay, Venudari Prabhu, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. One is forbidden to observe the activities of a pure Vaishnava from a material point of view. For the neophyte especially, considering a pure devotee from a material point of view is very injurious. One should therefore avoid observing a pure devotee externally, but should try to see the internal features and understand how he is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. In this way, one can avoid seeing the pure devotee from a material point of view, and thus one can gradually become a purified devotee himself.
Such an important point Prabhupada is making. If you really want to judge someone, see their devotional qualities. How much they are attached to service. How much they are attached to holy name. Like Sachinandan Maharaj shares this experience. At one time he wanted to test Srila Prabhupada. So what he did, in the middle of night, he somehow managed to enter Srila Prabhupada's room through window when Prabhupada was taking rest. And Prabhupada was sleeping. He entered Prabhupada's room and he went slowly near Prabhupada's bed and he saw in sleep Prabhupada was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So these qualities we should look in Vaishnavas. How much they're attached to holy name, how much they're attached to spiritual master, how much they're attached to service of the Lord, not material qualities. Okay, Devadev Prabhu, please read.
Krishna Babu, an empowered person who is actually engaged in the confidential service of the Lord should not be treated as ordinary human being. For it is stated that unless one is empowered by Krishna, one cannot spread Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. It is also an offense to consider an empowered Vaishnava an object of disciplinary action. It is offensive to try to give him advice or to correct him. One can distinguish between a neophyte Vaishnava and an advanced Vaishnava by their activities.
So one should never think that every Vaishnava is same. No. We should understand by their activities, especially their ability to preach holy name. As I was discussing, Kali Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tar Pravartan. Without empowerment of Krishna, nobody can spread holy name. So if we really want to test somebody, we should understand how much they are attached to holy name of Krishna. And therefore, next verse deals with attachment to holy name. The 7th verse deals with how one should see holy name. If you really want to check you are a pure devotee or not, then check how much you are attached to holy name. So 7th verse is very important for practicing devotees. Sachidanand Prabhu, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of avidya, ignorance, cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relief awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root.
So somebody may say, holy name is so sweet, so anyone will be liking it. Why you are saying that only pure devotees are attached to holy name? No, the problem is in us. If we are having jaundice of avidya, then in jaundice what happens? Jaundice is a disease in which if you take sweet items, it will taste bitter. So in the same way, somebody who is affected by ignorance, avidya, that person cannot relish chanting of the holy name. At the same time, medicine for jaundice is sugar candy. Although sugar will taste bitter to a person who is suffering from jaundice, but medicine for jaundice is sugar candy. So if we are not attached to holy name, what we should do? We should chant holy name more. That is the solution. If you don't like chanting, you need more chanting. That is the solution given in this verse. So when we chant regularly, then slowly, naturally, we start relishing. As our disease will go down, we start relishing the holy name. Pratima Mataji, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. In the material world, everyone is trying to become happy, and also the material attempts are baffled in every way. Due to their nescience, they cannot understand their mistakes. People try to rectify one mistake by making another mistake. This is a way of the struggle for existence in the material world. If one in this condition is advised to take to Krishna consciousness and be happy, he does not accept such instructions.
What is the symptom of this jaundice? You are giving them good advice that, my dear sir, you are suffering. Please become devotee. Please chant holy name. It will help you in your life. Then also they will not accept. Prabhupada used to joke. At one time, one old lady told her husband, chant, chant, chant. And he says, can't. So that is the problem. They cannot chant. They don't want to take good advice because of the jaundice of ignorance. Kripalu Keshavi Mataji, please read this quote.
Hare Krishna. However, one must know that for jaundice, sugar candy is the only specific medicine. Similarly, in the present confused state of humanity, Krishna consciousness, the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, is the only remedy for setting the world all right.
So we have to understand that although we may not like to chant, But still, this is the only remedy. So conclusion is that in order to get freed from material disease, one must take to chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. The Krishna consciousness movement is especially meant for creating an atmosphere in which people can take to chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. So Prabhupada told two things. One is Krishna consciousness movement is meant to facilitate 6 loving exchanges in devotees. We studied that. And Prabhupada is also saying what to do in that association. Learn to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So if we can do that, slowly we can develop our dormant Krishna consciousness. Yes, Bharat Krishna Prabhu.
Now, I would like to share here that in my early days, when I was reading, Srila Prabhupada books, the Lilamrita, etc., that I was, there was this crime in Chicago, and he was on a plane. So he says, we can give solution. And he had an interview with the chief of police. And he says, okay, you send them to us, we will kill them. And I was very skeptical, how Prabhupada will do that. But it took me many years to understand what is the real value of this chanting and how it can transform people. So this was my real, I had doubts, what Prabhupada, what he was saying, So I just...
And the basis of that confidence is Rupa is repeating the instruction of Shastras. See, Rupa Goswami is telling what he learned from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Personality of Godhead. So when we follow Parampara as it is, then we have confidence in our speech. We have solution to all problems if we follow Parampara. If we don't follow Parampara, then we can't do good to ourselves, what to speak about others.
Thank you.
Now, Rupa Goswami is summarizing the whole thing. See, we discussed how to avoid sinful activities in first verse. Then we discussed what things will harm our bhakti in second verse. Then we discussed what thing will enhance our bhakti in third verse. Then we discussed how to do loving dealings with devotees in fourth verse. Then we discussed how to give proper respect to different kinds of devotees, Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, and Uttamadhikari in fifth verse. Then we learned how not to see faults in pure devotee in sixth verse. And then we saw how holy name is the medicine to our all problems in seventh verse. So see how Rupa Goswami is bringing from our sinful level to chanting of holy name through these 7 verses. Now he is summarizing what we should do. Summarization by Sri Rupa Goswami. Usha Mataji, please read.
Yes, Prabhuji. The essence of all advice is that one should utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in nicely chanting and remembering the Lord's divine name, transcendental form, qualities, and eternal pastimes, thereby gradually engaging one's tongue and mind.
The essence of all advice. There is nothing beyond this. What one should do? Of course, may not be very relishing to us now, but this is what is the perfection of bhakti. Utilize one's full time, 24 hours a day, in chanting and remembering Lord's divine name, form, quality, and pastimes through one's tongue and mind. What will happen by that? Nishtha Mataji, please read.
Tishui.
Yes, we can't hear you. Okay.
In this way, one should reside in Braj, Golok, Vrindavan, Dham, and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. one should follow in the footsteps of the Lord's beloved devotees who are deeply attached to his devotional service.
So one who is engaged in remembering and chanting Krishna's name form qualities and holy name, they can reside in Golok Vrindavan and serve Krishna under the guidance of devotees. So even after reaching to that level, we don't become independent. Still, we have to follow the footsteps of divine devotees. And this is called Raganuga Bhakti. See, Raga, you have to understand this very nicely. Raga means love. Raganuga means, Anuga means following. Anugami. Anugami means follower. Raganuga means follow somebody who has raga. Raga means love. One who has love is called Ragatmika Bhakta. Ragatmika Bhakta. But we don't have raga, we don't have love. So what we should do? We should follow Ragatmika Bhakta. That is called Raganuga Bhakti. So following the footsteps of eternal associates of Krishna and Vrindavan, that is called Raganuga Bhakti. And we are very fortunate to have that opportunity. We'll discuss this after a few slides. So what type of devotees Krishna has? Krishna has devotees in 5 categories. You know these categories. First is Shantaras, service in passive mode, like being Krishna's flute or being a tree, being grass of spiritual world, being some stones in a spiritual world, being Krishna's cows. These all are in Shantaras. There is not much service involved, but indirectly serving Krishna. Second is Dasiras, being servant. You know, Krishna has a dozen flutes, and for each flute, he has a servant to carry his flute. So there are 12 servants carrying Krishna's 12 flutes. So like that, Krishna has many servants like Chitrak, Patrak, Raktak, etc. So servants, like we read about Hanuman. Hanuman serves Lord Ram in Dasiras as servant. Then beyond that is Sakhiras, serving as a friend, like Baladev, Sridama, Madhumangal, Sudama. They are Krishna's friends. Supriya Rasa. Beyond that is Vatsalya Rasa, parental affection, becoming Krishna's father and mother. All elderly gopis in Vrindavan also were having Vatsalya Rasa. They treated Krishna as their child. But topmost is Madhurya Rasa, where Krishna is served in pure love, especially conjugal love, which is practiced by gopis of Vrindavan. And topmost gopi is Srimati Radharani. Now, these gopis are assisted by manjaris. Manjaris are little girls. Gopis are, say, 12 years, 13 years, 14 years old. And manjaris are 7-8 years old in age. And they remain eternally for 7-8 years old. So these manjaris, they assist gopis in helping to arrange pastimes. And one of the dear manjari who always assists Srimati Radharani and Lalita is Rupa Manjari. And guess what? Rupa Goswami is that Rupa Manjari. So they service in Madhurya Ras by gopis and manjaris. Now, how we reach to this level? There are 5 rasas available, but we are having this sadhana bhakti, rising up early in the morning, chant your rounds, submit your sadhana card, shloka test, closed book assignment, open book assignment. Where do we fit? Actually, we fit in the highest order. Because as you can see, Srimati Radharani is in Madhurya Ras. Highest order of Madhurya Ras is with Srimati Radharani. And same Srimati Radharani came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So you remember the definition of Raganuga Bhakta? Raganuga Bhakta means who follows a Ragatmika Bhakta. And whom we are following? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Who is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Srimati Radharani. So whom we are following? Srimati Radharani. Who is the highest Ragatmika Bhakta? So what we are practicing? Raganuga Bhakti. So although our bhakti is looking like sadhana bhakti, but actually it is giving us benefit of Raganuga Bhakti also. Let's read this. Anupama Mataji, please read.
In the transcendental realm of Vraj, one should place himself under the direct guidance of a particular associate of Krishna and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana and in the stage of sadhya. When one is a siddha purush or a spiritually perfect soul.
We should not think that, okay, I am a new devotee now, so let me be under guidance. But when I become big devotee, then I don't need to be under someone. No. We always need guidance in a spiritual life. We always need somebody to follow in a spiritual life. And what a great fortune we have to follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Srimati Radharani herself. So this verse gives us hope that, okay, we are doing sadhana bhakti, we are doing our rules and regulations, but actually by following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are doing the highest form of worship. Last three verses are very quick ones. There is hierarchy of material and spiritual worlds, and there is hierarchy of different types of devotees. You know this. Beyond material world is Vaikuntha. Because in Vaikuntha, all living entities are obedient to the supreme law. Beyond Vaikuntha, Mathura, or we can say within Vaikuntha, highest place is Mathura Mandal means whole Braj Mandal. 84 miles Braj Mandal is Mathura Mandal. Because Krishna takes birth in Mathura. Within Mathura, there are 12 forests. Out of them, Vrindavan is best. Because there, Krishna personally walks. And he does all his pastimes in the forest of Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, Govardhan Hill is best because Krishna performs intimate pastimes with gopis in Govardhan Hill. Vrindavan he has many pastimes, but Govardhan Hill, intimate pastimes. And in Govardhan Hill, in the banks, on the foothills of Govardhan Hill, Radha Kund is topmost. Because in Radha Kunda, this is non-different from Srimati Radharani. So as much Krishna loves other gopis, Krishna loves Radharani the most. So therefore Radha Kund is highest even in the periphery of Govardhan Hill. So this is little hierarchy of planets. Let's read little quote about each place. Okay. Chetan.
Can I read, Prabhu?
Yes, please. Somebody who has not read, please feel free
Hare
to.
Krishna, Prabhu. Mathura, Hare Krishna, Mathura and the adjoining areas, although appearing in the material world, are considered superior to the spiritual world because the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself appeared in Mathura. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Mataji. Sorry, I'm not calling names of devotees without video because I don't know if
No,
they.
it's okay. It's okay, Prabhu. It's okay.
Thank you. So Mathura is great even in material world because Krishna takes birth there in the form of a human to do his pastimes. Yeah. Amar Nitai Prabhu, please read.
Vrindavan. The inferior forests of Vrindavan are considered superior to Mathura because of presence of the 12 forests, such as Salvana, Madhuvana, and Bahulavana, which are famous for the various pastimes of the Lord.
Even in Mathura Mandal, Vrindavan, the 12 forests of Vrindavan are very famous because Krishna performs various pastimes with his Gopa friends, with different associates of Krishna in these 12 forests. Then Govardhan Hill.
Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill like an umbrella, raising it with his lotus-like beautiful hand to protect his associates, the denizens of Vraja.
Please read.
Krishna tends the cows with his cowherd friends. He had his rendezvous with his most beloved Sri Radha and engaged in loving pastimes with her.
Govardhan Hill is more sacred because Krishna lifted it personally, he touched it, he tends his cows every day in Govardhan Hill, and he associates with gopis in loving pastimes in the groves of Govardhan Hill. Then coming to the topmost place in the spiritual realm. Yes, Sachi Maharani Mataji, you can read.
Radha Kund at the foot of Govardhan is superior to all because it is there that love of Krishna overflows. This place is the site of many memories of the eternal loving affairs between Krishna and Radharani.
Yes, please read.
Okay. The importance of Radha Kunda, however, cannot be realized by other Vaishnava sampradayas, nor can persons uninterested in the devotional service of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understand the spiritual importance and divine nature of Radha Kunda.
You remember when I started this book, we discussed the background that how in other Vaishnava Sampradayas there is no discussion about Srimati Radharani. And it is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who gave us access to Srimati Radharani. And this Radha Kund can only be appreciated by the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because this is not water, this is liquid love of Godhead. These pastimes of Radha Krishna are eternally ongoing in this pure place of Sri Radha Kunda. Now, after discussing this hierarchy of different spiritual places, Rupa Goswami is also giving hierarchy of different spiritual beings. People who follow Shastras for their own sense gratification are lowest, they are karmis. Above them are Gyanis who want to give up sense gratification, but they have no clue about devotional life. Better than that is Bhaktas, devotees, who surrender to Krishna. Now within devotees, there are three categories: Kanishtadhikari, Madhyamadhikari, Uttamadhikari. So pure devotee come to the level of Prema Bhaktas. Prema Bhakta means pure devotees. Now in these pure devotees, there are five categories we just discussed: Dasya, Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhur. So topmost are the gopis. And within gopis, who is the topmost? Srimati Radharani. She is the topmost. So this hierarchy of devotional qualities are discussed, devotees are discussed. And this also we discussed in the beginning session, in the first session of this book, that why gopis are highest, because they are serving Krishna in total selfless love. Krishna put them in mode of separation, they will serve in mode of separation. They don't want company of Krishna, they want pleasure of Krishna. Everybody want company of Krishna, but gopis want pleasure of Krishna. So that is the highest love, Vipralamba Bhav. That is mood of separation. This highest form of love which gopis exhibited. And therefore Rupa Goswami is concluding by telling the glories of Srimati Radharani and her dear Kunda. So Anupama Mataji, please read.
of the many objects of favored delight, and of all the lovable damsels of Brajbhumi, Srimati Radharani certainly the most treasured object of Krishna's love, and in every respect her divine Kund is described by great sages as similarly dear to him. Undoubtedly, Radha Kund is very rarely attained even by the great devotees. Therefore, it is even more difficult for ordinary devotees to attain. If one simply baths once within those holy water, one's pure love of Krishna is fully aroused.
This Radha Kund may be visible to our eyes, but it's a very, very rare place. To understand the true glories of Sri Radha Kund, going there with proper consciousness is very, very rare. And if we get that opportunity, even by taking one single bath in Radha Kund, one can get purified and get love of Krishna. So that is Rupa Goswami's statement. Of course, we should not play with Radha Kund water like Srila Prabhupada when he took his disciples to Radha Kund. The American disciples, they were not knowing what to do. So they started swimming, playing in Radha Kund. So then Prabhupada banned. Prabhupada said, no more taking bath in Radha Kund. But after that, many devotees understood that that was the mistake. So you can respectfully take bath under the guidance of senior devotees, preferably your spiritual master. So if your spiritual master gave permission and there is some senior devotee there to guide, that time we can take bath in Radha Kund. Otherwise, on our own, we should not take that risk. Respectfully, we can take some 3 drops of water, respectfully, sitting there, chanting holy name, that is sufficient. Rather than committing any offense, we should preferably take Radha Kund bath only under the guidance of senior devotees. Yes. Devadev Prabhu, can you read?
Radha Kund. It is stated that a devotee will at once develop pure love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis if he once takes a bath in Radha Kund. Srila Rupa Goswami recommends that even if one cannot live permanently on the banks of Radha Kund, one should at least take a bath in the lake as many times as possible.
We are not that fortunate to live there, but at least we should respectfully honor Radha Kund, and we should understand that Radha Kund is the highest melted love in the form of water which we are getting through parampara. And it's so interesting that Srila Prabhupada, when he met Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati on the bank of Sri Radha Kunda, what Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati told him? If you get money, print books. So that was instruction of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati on the bank of Radha Kund to Srila Prabhupada. So even being at Radha Kund and relishing love of God, greater than that is distributing that love of God. So Srila Prabhupada took one step ahead, even from there. That okay, we can get mercy of Parampara, but then we should distribute this mercy of Sri Parampara. Therefore, Prabhupada went to the West and he introduced Radha Kund to all over the world. So this book is very, very important for our own spiritual life. We understood in the 11 verses, you can see how it takes us from very basic practice of Krishna consciousness to the glories of Radha Kund, glories of Sri Sri Radha Krishna, pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Therefore, we should learn this book by heart. We should read it again and again. It's a small book. As many times we will read, we will get newer and newer realizations. So I request devotees to kindly read this book, and you can complete your closed book assignments. If you have any questions, you can write to me. You can ask now, you can ask in next class. But this book is not just for Bhakti Sastri. This book is for our ongoing practice of devotional service. So we should read it again and again and implement the teachings given in Nectar of Instruction. Shri Updeshamrita ki jai, Shri Rupa Goswami ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much giving me extra time today.
Hare
So
Krishna, Prabhu.
we'll have next class on Monday and Tuesday, 2 classes. And I think Wednesday you have exam for this unit. So in that unit, you will have to study Ishopanishad and Nectar of Instruction both. So you can cover the closed work assignment question bank and analogies. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.